My people, top of the evening at this point to you. Coach Sean here, tapping in. Are more changes expected for conference realignment? Just my humble opinion. Are more changes expected for conference realignment? Just my humble opinion. Thank you for tapping in with me, guys. I won't worry you long. Wanted to get into a real quick subject that I've been doing some research on, man, and it's just my humble opinion, right? Change is on the horizon. I believe that. I believe change is on the horizon. Now, why do you say that, Coach Son? Because listen, it's more than just posturing going on at this point with the ACC. It's more than just posturing. It's more than posturing going on with Florida State, with Clemson, right? Possibly even with other conferences and other schools. Listen, athletics departments are now, when you look at athletic departments now, ADs and everybody who work for these guys are releasing statements all online about their respective conferences on the internet. We're not leaving. We're not leaving. Why do you feel the need to come out on the internet and release a statement letting everybody know that you're not leaving your respective conference? It's noise about UNC and their basketball team trying to pull a Notre Dame, if you will. You may go to this conference, but my basketball team will be in this conference, right? Just for money purposes. Um, and that's crazy because we all know UNC's basketball is huge. Dare I say, UNC is a basketball school with a great football team, I guess I could say, given respect. A lot of noise about those guys wanting to go to another conference in basketball, no matter what they do in football. SEC, right? Um, when you look at the ACC guys, these guys have $140 million buyout, man, per school, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 140-ish million-dollar buyout, um, and that's crazy. That's significantly higher than most of your other universities in any other conference. 140 million dollars is absolutely ridiculous. I watched an interview that Brett McMurphy did on Paul Feinbaum. He did a great interview on Paul Feinbaum, and he was speaking about Clemson and Florida State may possibly wanting to go to the Big Ten because the SEC hadn't showed a gain of interest in those guys. Well, AD Scott Strickland must have saw the same damn interview because AD Scott Strickland came out with, and I quote, Florida State, as an SEC member, we have a good relationship with our friends in Tallahassee. No school has a veto in this league. If you get three-fourths of the league to support expansion, we're going to expand. Anybody who made our league better or who can make our league better, we'd be supportive of joining the SEC. Whenever we've expanded in the past, the leadership of the league was able to lay out why, why it made sense, how it made sense. It made sense in bringing on Arkansas and South Carolina, A&M and Missouri, Texas and OU. We all saw financial projections, competitive rationale, and three-fourths of the league said, let's do this. If there were ever opportunities out there, and again, no one has made any conversations, but if it were, that is the scenario where everybody walks in and says, let's do this. So that is a far cry from what Mr. McMurphy was saying on Paul Feinbaum. The SEC AD, one of the most powerful, said, no, we be damn sure receptive of any school coming to the SEC that could benefit us. Um, you may ask about the ACC grant of rights, the GOR, if they will, and how that's going to lock Clemson in and lock Florida State in. Well, some legal perspectives and some legal guys, some legal experts, if you will, said that the ACC deal and the grant of rights is not so ironclad. It's not so ironclad. Boy, I tell you, money can solve anything, huh? Even contracts. So When you look at this ACC settlement, man, when you look around the country at other conferences and you look at this AC settlement, right? You have to remember, as I said, other conferences have a much lower release or exit fee than the ACC. My research tells me that Florida State and Clemson have very different future negotiation plans than UNC, Miami, and NC State. Again, Florida State and Clemson have very different future negotiation plans than Miami, UNC, and NC State, right? Florida State and Clemson have made no qualms about it. We want out, especially Florida State, and rightfully so. I get it. Um, UNC, Miami, and NC State also said that they will not sign off. They will not support the decision of Clemson and Florida State leaving if it locks them into the ACC. Think about that again, guys. We will not support our three biggest schools per se, two of the three, maybe, whatever you want to call it. We won't support them leaving if it makes us have to stay here. So, what's going on in the ACC, man? What's going on in the ACC? I'll tell you what's going on in the ACC. Money. These schools are trying to follow the money. Now, how do you fix that? Bring in another rich entity that understands how to make money and let them guide us. ESPN. ESPN seems to be getting involved heavily, heavily um, in the negotiations to try to help the ACC media deal. These guys are getting involved with the ACC media deal heavily. Now, I don't know if it's an unconscionable deal breaker. I don't know if it's a restructuring of a deal, whatever you want to call it. But the ESPN is definitely getting involved to aid the schools that want to leave and help the schools that want to stay and benefiting them monetarily, right? They're aiding the schools that want to leave, right, guys? They're aiding them. They're aiding these guys that want to leave, and they're helping the schools that want to stay, providing monetary support. So ESPN has definitely got a nice little stake in this, if you will, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, considering the fact that two of your biggest schools won out. They won out, man. Now, with all these deals, they definitely going to make sure that the Big Ten and the SEC are on board with it. Obviously, the Big Ten and the SEC are brand conferences. These conferences will suck up the resources as far as the bigger brands go. We all know that. Now, I told you guys on videos and videos ago that just give it to the summer. Give it to the summer with everything that was going on and everything that was happening. Give it to the summer. As you see now with revenue sharing, with conference realignment coming back up again, things are starting to shake. How did you know that, Coach Sean? Coach Sean is not an insider by any stretch of the imagination, right? I coach this game. I love this game. The few little two or three people that I know of that have recollections and good knowledge of this don't even tell me nothing because I'm afraid to ask, right? I just put two and two to damn together. Anytime you get rich people together in the same room, especially when it's rich people who don't even get along, you better believe they trying to make something happen. It is something that offends them and offend their pockets. So I said, with the SEC and the Big Ten coming together to discuss this, you better believe something as quick as this summer will be put in place. And it's not over. It's not over, guys, because this conference realignment is a big thing. Everybody's trying to get in where they fit in. Everybody's trying to posture. Everybody's trying to catch that train before it leaves the station. And the ACC is on Front Street right now. They are. Um, Now, when you really look at it, and the importance of it, the future of the ACC teams under this model, under this model, will be based probably from what I see on TV value. TV value. What do you mean by TV value, Coach Sean? They want to know what teams are left that can bring monies to the ACC network. They want to know which teams are left after everybody move and shake. What teams are left that can bring monetary gain to the ACC network? And that's just normal business, I suppose, guys. Right? Hypothetically, Clemson and Florida State leave. Okay, we're going to pay the teams that are here really, really, really well. And we're going to open our arms to teams that want to come. Right? But we're only going to take the teams with great eyeballs. You know what I mean by that? I don't mean the team can see well. I'm talking about the teams that people love to watch that are left. We're not going to take just Hubba Bubba University or scratch my back tech over here. No, 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 no. We're going to see which schools have the biggest fan bases, the most watch hours, the most ticket sales, and we're going to take them and let them come to the ACC, right? They said they wanted the teams with the best TV value that could help the ACC, the most popular, if you will. So Florida State to me is the number one team that wants out of this deal, and rightfully so. As I said, these guys have made no qualm into letting people know we want the hell out. Now I'm sure they're still chapped at the fact of what happened at the college football playoff. So the Big Ten might be their choice. Doesn't make a lot of sense geographically, but what the hell does geographically mean when USC's in the Big Ten, right? So if you're the SEC, you got to ask yourself, does Clemson and Florida State bring a lot of value to the conference? You got teams from Florida already. You got a team from South Carolina already. But this is where you have to ask yourself, what's more important? Just the football eyes or the overall landscape of college athletics wise? Me personally, I say bring them on. I say bring them on because Florida State is great in basketball. Clemson is great in other things. It's not just football. Even though football is the breadwinner, we definitely want to bring some things to this conference to help us out in other sports too. More revenue, more money created, more eyeballs, more fannies in the seats. Right? So I say bring them on. Bring them to the SEC. Um, so and in a bigger note, if an agreement can't be reached with Florida State, Clemson, especially Florida State, it would trigger ESPN's composition clause. Now, that's bad, 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 bad business. Why? Because then you have a legal meltdown. You have legalities everywhere. That will force negotiations. That'll force negotiations, right? That's when you get all the legal jargon, all the legal terms. Um, FSU is dead set at leaving, man. And if they go against it, that'll trigger that ESPN composition clause. So they got till June 30th, if I'm not mistaken, to make a decision on this. Um, it's crazy, man, when you think of how far it's came. You understand what I'm telling you? And if I can just say it made me think one thing is crystal clear out of all this. One thing is crystal clear. The GOR, grant of rights, ACC deal, whatever you want to call it, that contract may have well been written on a piece of toilet paper, wet toilet paper at that, right? It may as well be, man. You know, it's crazy, man. Shout out to College Football Addiction, by the way. Shout out to those guys. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy when you look around, man. Contracts are being voided. Um, things are being overtaken. It's crazy, and it just lets you see what we've always told you guys here of late. Money rules it all. That's why it's very difficult for me to get upset at these kids when you have these sort of things going on, man. Right? I give Florida State a lot of credit because they're making the most noise. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, if you will. They made no qualms about it. We want out. Damn a GOR. Damn a ACC deal. We want out. Rightfully so. A lot of posturing going on. A lot of teams don't want to miss the train, right? The train is at the station. You better get in where you fit in. Shout out to them, right? So stay tuned, guys. I wanted to give you guys a quick little 10, 15-minute video and really preface of what's going on right now. Me and the guys will probably get on this subject a little later on in the week and dive in deep, really let you know what we think about this and how we feel about it. I appreciate all of you guys tapping in with me as always. The truth will always be in the details. The truth will always be in the details. Tap in with us. I'll let you guys know when we put out the more in-depth video. And thank you so very much for tapping in with me. Roll Tide to everybody out there.